on Las Vegas because I didn't have anything when I thought of starting the network. I didn't have anything that focused on Las Vegas. And if you want to focus on Las Vegas and want some people that really know what goes on and are right there involved, and of course Kelly's been on the show I don't know how many times already. Tasha came on the show before when I had started. So, and I know them well. So I thought it'd be great to have a show with them on it because they're right there in the thick of things, actually doing the activism. And they've also had, of course, Kelly has had experience with radio, coming on my show a lot. I don't know if you've done other things, a lot of other things, and then, Tasha and, organizing events, and she's been on the radio before, and she spoke at events that she has done. And of course, you guys speak at the Clark County Commission meetings all the time as well. So they have a lot of public speaking experience and all that. So, and
tell us a bit about the lockdowns real quick.
Yeah, I'm going to do that. Don't worry.
I just don't want to run out of time.
Ask me to come on. No, you're fine.
I want to censor you. But
well, you said that you didn't have a lot of time there to fill up anyway, so we still got 15 minutes. We're good. So anyway, the information that I have on these lockdowns, I had read a couple articles. Damn, I do not like how my mic is sounding right now, but I had read a couple articles on it, and it's for things that Tasha started to get into. So things like somebody will lock themselves in their house and threaten to do something, or they have a gun or something like that. But in those situations, obviously, the police are there. So if you already have a SWAT team there, you don't need to lock down every elementary school within 2 or 3 miles, and that's what they're doing. So I had called I mentioned this, I think, on the show before. I had called the Clark County Commission, not Clark County Commission, the Clark County School District, and asked them about lockdowns and how they what's the process. And the police will call the principal. This is what they told me. This doesn't mean that this is what actually happens. The police will call the principal and ask the principal, or tell the principal the situation, and the principal will make the call. Of course, I think he'll do whatever the police ask him to do in that situation. So that's essentially what I know regarding that. And it happens all the time. That's the whole thing. If you look just at, go looking for articles, it happens at least once a week where they're locking down these elementary schools. And what happens from that is that you're exposing kids to thinking this is just a normal environment that is needed, that they need to lock down schools, that everything is so dangerous and scary and you need the police and all of that. So I will let you guys discuss and then go into the events that you were going to talk about. So thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, well, so I think that's probably like the theory of how it should happen is they call the principal and the principal decides, but I think it's more likely that the cops call up and say, we want you to do this, and it happens. And it is one of those things where they're kind of conditioning the children to getting locked down at certain times and dealing with the police. And I know they had one of these times when it happened. I think this is about 2 years ago. They had a coyote, and it was an elementary school that was close to Sunset Park. And what happens is the coyotes come out because there's a lot of rabbits in the park. So they go through like the sewer channels and stuff, and they'll come out and hunt the rabbits at night when everybody's out of the park. And so there are quite a few coyotes in that area. And what happened is one of them came out of the park and was running down the street. and they closed down the whole school.
I saw it.
But what they also did is they chased the coyote down and shot him, because it's like you can't give Metro an opportunity to shoot somebody; they won't take advantage of it. But it's one of those things, like during the coverage of that, they pointed out that like there's never been anybody bitten by a coyote in Las Vegas. So it's not even like a real threat.
But they were scared for their lives, and they had to take down the coyote.
Yeah, chase it down and kill it.
I'm not sure how I feel about the lockdowns. I mean, like, you don't want somebody running into the school crazed and shit. But what are the actual chances, and how often has that really happened? You know, where somebody's wanting to kill themselves and having family drama. A lot of it's usually murder-suicides, kind of family drama shit, drunk crackheads, you know. So I just don't, I haven't read up on it too much, but I don't really think that that's where they would run to first. Most of the time those people are really, you know, caught up in their own drama and not trying to go into the school.
Well, that's the other thing, is they have the school cops now. And, you know, it is, I mean, the shootings in schools are rare in the first place. But the incidents where, you know, somebody did something in the neighborhood, like, it's not really a risk because it's a tiny mini school. Like, maybe, you know, I mean, it's almost never happens that somebody would, you know, they're involved in some sort of situation, they decide to run to the school.
Right. And a lot of schools, I don't know how the public schools are, I can't really say. But, like, every school Kaya's ever gone to, my daughter, she, they will lock. Like, when school starts, those doors that go into, like, the main buildings and stuff where you get into the classrooms, they lock them down. You have to, like, press to get access into the school. So, I don't understand the whole...
That's one of the things when I had been out driving a truck for, like, 5 years at one point, and... it had been a long time since I had been near a school, but I moved to a place that was close to a school. And that's one of the things that I started noticing about all the schools is now they're all locked down. They've all got chain link fences around them. Like when I was going to school, you could come to the school after school hours, and they had like basketball courts in the driveways and the parking lots, and you could play, or you could just go and run around in the little park that they have out there that they use for recess and for PE and all that. Nowadays, like, you can't go on campus unless it's open.
Right, exactly.
So if school's not going on, nobody can be there. And going back to that little girl with the broken leg, from the story that was in there, I got the impression that that's what happened, is she was at school on an off day. Which I don't understand why that should be illegal in the first place. But, you know, that's another reason you don't need to break a kid's leg because she decided to play in the park.
Well, and like we said, she was a tiny little person. Like, even if she was trespassing, whatever, how bad could it have been where they had to break her leg to remove her, or break her leg for any reason? But, Hopefully we get some more information on that.
Yeah, and it goes back a little bit to the one we talked about on the last show where the cop finally got fired. I'm not even sure if he's actually fired. He was charged. I don't know if they even fired him yet. They usually give him a vacation until they resolve it. But, you know, he was in the drunken accident where he tried to beat up some of the people, some of the bystanders, and pulled a gun on some of them after they tried to stop him from beating up people. And, he had shot that kid that was walking down the street from a school. And that kid was, I think, 13 years old. So, like, what kind of threat is a 13-year-old kid to an adult?
Yeah, they're all rational goes out the window with these people, it seems. But, so that will wrap up our show topics for today. I wanted to make a couple of announcements about what's coming up in the activism community. Kelly, I'm sure you have some that you can tell us about. As always, there's every Sunday, there is Food Not Bombs at 10:30 at Circle Park. downtown.
Also on Mondays at 11:30.
Yeah.
2 days now.
They do both days, so that's really awesome. Today I went and joined them. I don't get to go as often, but I do try to go down there, and we had a good time. The last couple of times, we've had a lot of fun. Dave Odo, our friend, we make him do a fashion show, and lots of people have been showing up to, get clothes and food. So if anybody's interested in just coming down and spending time and hanging out, sometimes that's more important to them than the clothes or food. So you just need somebody to talk to. It was a nice day
in the park, too.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That is one of the things when you go down there. A lot of homeless people are shunned or even like bullied or, just not made to feel welcome. And when you hang out with them and treat them like actual people, they really appreciate that.
It makes a difference. I can't even imagine. I tell people all the time, Las Vegas especially, and I grew up in Dallas. We had a really bad homeless problem there too. But they're kind of treated like the invisibles, like they're not really there if we don't look at them. If we just keep moving them out of the popular areas and shit like that, like they don't exist. But they really do. We even shove them underground. There's 11,000 people living underground, I think, that I read last time. That's crazy. Other events going on. There's a really important one, and I think our next show will be on the cannabis community, cannabis activists, and the upcoming legislation for legalization and how it is not really legalization. I want to let people know about this event that's coming up. It's super important. The big dogs have gotten together and decided who the important people are, quote unquote, and they have put in a committee. It's called, it's some kind of legislation committee, subcommittee that they have put together with, Patricia Farley, Tick Seeger-Bloom, people from the lawyer's office, Connor and Connor, Jennifer Solis is involved. A lot of big-time businesses are involved in this and legislators. So they have put together a summit. They put together a subcommittee. The subcommittee has one activist portion of it. They are going to have an advocate summit. It's Wednesday, December 2nd, 2015 at 5:30 at the Clark County Library. I highly recommend anybody that is involved in the cannabis community or just activism and believes in freedom to come down and listen and have your voices heard. In my opinion, cannot pass this, and we'll get to that on another show, but I hope you do show up to that. Kelly, what other events?
The things that they have is they've been passing them around the country, and they just rejected it in Ohio. And what it really does is set up a monopoly of who can be involved.
It's an oligarchy, and that's how our alcohol has been set up here in Nevada especially, and they want to set up, that's who will regulate it like alcohol and tobacco. So you're giving our most precious medicine. And even if I believe personally there is no recreational, like even if you're taking it in your mind for recreational, your body needs it somehow and you're healing. So it's medicinal. Yeah. But we'll definitely get into that.
We also do the A Cafe every Saturday at 6 at 3 Mo's End. And that's where we do a lot of socializing, but we also do organizing there, and we do just connecting people together. And we also do kind of an educational thing. Like if you're somebody that's not familiar with anarchism, or even if you have an issue with anarchism and you want to come down and like tell us we're wrong, then we're happy to discuss those sort of topics with people.
Absolutely. Well, join us next time here on Radical Anarchist Revolution Radio. Thank you so much.
The fact that it was called unprecedented when the use of force board recommended that somebody be fired for shooting somebody because they thought his hat was a gun is disgraceful.